I think we're living in just an amazing period of history. The things that are happening really, really quickly. And on this pod, we talk about AI, but the things that AI have done, robo taxis, flying cars, robotics to help our daily lives, they're in our back door. I mean, within a couple of years, we are going to be highly influenced by all the impacts of AI. I mean, it's not just what we do on our keyboards. It's going to be surrounding us in a really good way, I think. So.
The AI world is moving fast, but we make it easy. Welcome to the AIBecause podcast, your shortcut to turning AI hype into real results.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, welcome to this week's episode of AIBecause. It's not this week, we do it like every couple of weeks, but welcome to this one. And it's so funny because we started this one, this kind of started just organically as a conversation. And so now I'm going to do the intro at the end. So welcome. And we're going to go back to the beginning of the conversation. So there we go.
That in an age of basically unlimited questions or unlimited intelligence, which basically means unlimited answers, it's the questions that matter. So we have to make sure we're asking the right questions and we're doing the right things that are the most impactful
But
things.
Steve, that's been the case from the beginning of time, and people didn't realize it. That's one of the key things with leadership. It's not about
True.
It's about asking the right questions.
That's true.
And I don't think that's changed. So when we talk about leadership and development and people and businesses and all the stuff, I don't know that part changes your approach, how you engage.
Mm-hmm.
I think we still have the what, like people have goals and strategy and stuff that they want to hit. It's the how we get there, right? And the how we get there is, to your point, the questions we ask, the resources that we use are going to be different, okay? But the engagement of the resources along the way in a very thoughtful manner, which is the questions, engagement, respect for what people bring to the table or tools bring to the table, matters. And that's where you're going to have organizations that will just leapfrog and blow people out of the water versus this top-down approach where leaders at the top of the house have this attitude that they have all the answers, which has never been true. And it's freaking daunting for a human to have that responsibility.
Yeah.
Now we've got resources that never existed before. And I think the same thing exists that existed before is the questions matter, how we engage. Because the intelligence exists in the humans that we have in our organizations, as well as the AI. And people just haven't tapped into it.
True. Very true. I think it's been written, and I totally believe it, that there will someday soon be the first 1 billion 10-person company.
How about 1 billion 1-person company is what they're expecting, and I believe it.
I do believe it too. I believe it, except for I think that it's harder to do a 1-person company, maybe, but
that is an assumption and a limiting belief that you have. So I encourage you to set that puppy aside.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Let's try it. We'll all break off into separate pods and let's see who gets to. You see my point? I think people do better.
No. It just means we have a preference that we don't want to go our separate ways, but it doesn't mean that it's harder or easier. Because I don't believe that for a minute. Because like I said, I look at the stuff I'm able to do now that I was not able to do before.
Yes.
Okay. And it's like that. And I was telling this client, it's this whole idea of like this, and it was around being indispensable, and none of us are indispensable. And I don't think tools are indispensable. But what happens, I think, in this whole idea of the gains that we have in productivity kind of being masked is like you've got a bucket of water, you put your hand in the bucket of water, you pull your hand out of the bucket of water, your hand's no longer in the bucket of water, but you would never know it was ever there in the first place. It's not like there's this hole that was left.
Right.
And I think that's what happens with the gains that people have in productivity or bandwidth is the water or the extra work just kind of funnels in. And so what we track and how we measure that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just about widgets per, but I think the other part of it is it's the overall scope of stuff, because things will take less time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
are
that's
able to do more complex, challenging things, or are people able to move up in the skill sets they have because of the resources they have available to them? So it's an interesting thing. There's trends that people look at, and I think that trend happened before AI, is that as people leave through attrition, we look and go, do we need to backfill this position? And
so.
I think that's happening more now than ever before.
Yes,
Because before it
absolutely.
was an automatic that, oh, they left, they're in need of role in the organization, we're just going to backfill them. But through attrition, and I think it's the more respectful way, right? Not to do these furloughs or layoffs,
Exactly.
to say, okay, this person's leaving for whatever reason. Do we still need their job? Do we still need this
Right.
role, rather, in
Right.
the organization? And a lot of times we don't.
That's right.
A
Well,
lot of
I'll tell
times we
you,
don't.
yes. Well, we have, I mean, all right. So where I live in Dallas is it's a high-rise residential building.
Yeah.
There are 380 units. So I'm on the finance committee, and so our general manager resigned. I basically asked the question, do we need to replace this general manager? Can we have an assistant general manager, and we have a person that's in charge of the building maintenance. Like, let's see if we can't reshuffle things and automate some things, and to avoid having to replace her. And I suggested that to someone that was on the board of directors, and then we went back and forth. Now I sent him a plan. I need to see where this is now. Because
So you sent him a plan to make the determination whether or not you need to backfill?
No, I said the idea of the plan, again created with AI, is to try operating for 6 months. Let's see how successful we are. The finance committee can do more of the budget, because that was one of the general manager's primary responsibilities before. Finance committee can do more of the budget, and then we can reshuffle things between the assistant GM and the maintenance person. Actually, make the assistant GM the acting GM, and see if we can get by.
Eliminate the assistant GM position if at all.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and that would be, we would save ourselves, oh my gosh, easily, multiple six figures, and that's for a year. And yeah, like, that's impactful, right? That's the kind of stuff that I think
Well, and
that
I
we
think it's
should.
a more respectful way to do this stuff.
I agree.
You know, I mean, it's one of those things, and where we're at now, because people talk about agents and the workflows, they still make mistakes. So
Big time.
yes, so it's not just about, oh my God, this stuff works, and well, yeah, and it's getting better. It's like you were talking that Chat GPT rolled out 5. And it apparently hallucinates less, which is great, but less is not none.
That's right.
So, there's got to be stuff in place to go, okay, what's our safety net? And you can't just walk away. So, Kane Minkus talks and others refer to as human in the loop. You still need a human in the loop.
That's right. You do.
To be able to lay eyes on stuff, watch what's going on. But that being said, there are so many, I'm going to call it low-hanging fruit at this point, because we're just at the tip of what we can do.
That's right.
And I struggle with myself, because we've got the podcast and other posts that we want to do and promote what's going on. And it's like, okay, I have skill sets now to be able to generate shorts and generate posts and do all the stuff, because I have custom GPTs set up to be able to help me, and like Opus Clip and Clipchamp and all the other things. And this thing in the back of my head said, but should you be the one doing this stuff? Right? So should somebody else be doing this stuff, like a VA or somebody else that has this skill set, even though, I mean, for me, I've got a product that I like better than what I had when I was paying somebody at Fiverr.
Yeah.
But that thing is still nagging in my head, and I'm not 100% there yet to let go of, because it's kind of fun.
Right.
able
Well, there you go.
to create these things that I couldn't create before.
If you learn,
But I know at one point this is going to need to be handed off.
right.
Oh, because the dollars and the value that I bring with what I do, you can't, I mean, but right now I've got the luxury of the bandwidth, and I argue with myself because there are other things that air quote I should be doing, to promote growth that I'm not, because I'm doing this thing that I like to do better than the other stuff.
Yeah. Well, then, but maybe you should follow but that in and of itself is great information.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's an interesting space to be in, to where I'm able to do things I wasn't able to do before, experience. I appreciate what others do. And I'm also, it's created awareness for me on what it actually takes to do certain jobs that I didn't have any idea before, but then how to do certain jobs with AI enabled. Because creating images, doing all that stuff, we couldn't do that before. Motion on images. I love the Mid-Journey stuff that we have that we couldn't do before. I can take a static image that I create on ChatGPT, pull it into Mid-Journey. I now have motion to that. And visually, it's more appealing than this just static thing sitting there, as we're putting stuff together. And so that creative piece excites me. I mean, I do terrible stick figures, people. And so
right. Yeah, me too.
This was a big deal for me. Yeah.
I can't even write my name hardly. So
that's a big leap for you. So I hit record so that we could be recording this for the podcast. So we should probably jump in and do some other updates as we're doing it. And I'll just say, at the end of it, welcome to this week's episode.
Sure.
But what else is happening? Because that's the stuff for me that's exciting in this space of doing things that I couldn't do before. And I would encourage people to step in and do that. Play with it, experience it, put stuff together, and then you have an appreciation for what others are doing, and more importantly, what's possible.
Yeah, that's what's important. I think that the two big things is to be able to have an analytical mind, great critical thinking, and then to have some sense of what's possible, because that opens up more creativity and more thoughts, more ideas.
Well, and I've gone into ChatGPT to ask what's possible, right? This chat knows a lot about me because I've been engaging with chat for a couple of years now. But to go in there and find out what's possible. And the other thing that I'll say is challenge chat's thinking, because a lot of times the AI will come back with almost surface level stuff. And I want more than that now. I want deeper or more specifics or, examples. And I think we're far enough into the game and the use of the tool that I think more is possible in more creative ways.
Absolutely.
But no matter what, it goes back to understanding what your pain points are. What's the stuff getting in the way? What's the stuff that you're like, oh, I hate doing this, whatever. And for me, it was podcast descriptions and post descriptions and replying to emails. Seriously, I would overthink the crap out of that.
Yeah.
Just an email reply. Because I'm like, oh, say that, and literally, and I'm like, this is stupid. And so now I can just go in there.
Well,
go ahead, Steve.
Go ahead. I was just going to say one of the applications I tested, and I can't say the name of it right now, but it literally you could bring it up.
Would we have to kill you if you said it?
Yes, yes. But it's like you have a hotkey that you can bring up AI instead of having now to go to the ChatGPT application or your browser window. It's actually installed at the operating system level, and then you can bring it up, and then you can type prompts for like ChatGPT, and then with the result, you can actually paste it in your document. So you can say
How is that different than Copilot within Microsoft or Google's got Gemini within Google? How is that different? 'Cause
Well,
Microsoft's the
it's at a
operating
deeper
system,
level.
though.
It's at a
But
deeper level.
but
It's
Microsoft is the operating system. Microsoft, it is the operating system.
well, it might be in Windows and if it's not, yeah, it
Okay,
probably will.
okay. So you're
Right, right.
talking Apple
I'm
world.
talking
Yeah,
the Apple
oh,
world,
okay, yeah, see.
right? Which
Yeah,
most serious tech people have migrated to by
yeah,
now.
whatever. That is BS.
Yeah.
That is BS. I do have an Apple phone, but I'm not connected to the, yeah, no,
Uh, but
no.
anyway, but it made me, it opened up my eyes because,
So
like
it
you can just,
closed a gap that you have in the Apple environment. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
fair enough. Yeah, I
If
didn't
you,
have
but
that gap
it's
in mind.
more, I think it's more than that. We'd have to do some testing. And most Microsoft features seems to be an out of the box feature that comes with Microsoft non-usability. So that's just a
What does that even mean? What
poor
what what do those words mean?
poor UX. There's a word called UX, user experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, although the poor user experience I have with Microsoft is their support.
Oh, that true. That
That is
too.
the poor user experience.
Yes, that is true. That is
Yeah,
true.
you
Yes,
can't get a hold of people, you can't find people, and their whole
that's
thing
right.
is the ticket closed?
Right.
That was the
Right.
same way. How can it be closed? There's been no resolution. No,
Right. Exactly.
no, we haven't even met.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Uh,
Greg, what have you been doing, dude? What's been happening? Steve and I are just chatting away.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying the commentary for sure. Anyway, yes, I've been a long-term student of Napoleon Hill, and I know that people don't read books anymore, but anyway, I've followed those teachings for many years.
mhm.
Um, and so today, I kind of feel like Henry Ford. I can sit at my desk, I can push a button, and I can talk to people smarter than me in just a heartbeat. Okay. And so using products like Perplexity this week and a little introduction from something interesting from Steve, I can get access of some of the newest or latest information coming out of universities and research centers. And it's pretty impressive. But coming back with that information, what do you do with it? Okay. And so again, I'm going to relate back to Napoleon Hill is
Mhm.
I have my own mastermind group. Okay. I can take information from chat and I can put it into Gemini.
Mhm.
And Grok 4 is now free for everybody. So
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not adding another cost to my services,
Mhm.
but I can move that information around the three of them. And
Mhm.
it's been kind of mind blowing. I mean, there's two kind of major projects that I didn't know where I was going to take my first step. And
Mhm.
Mhm.
it's actually incredible. Okay,
Mhm.
what I've learned. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
amazing.
Mhm.
So what are you doing with it? I mean, you've learned it to your point, the application of it. You're using all these different tools, and I'm going to ask that question, but I do want to highlight what you said because the interesting thing that happened, and I love how all the competition's playing out and how we get advantage of that when GPT-5 rolled out, it's free. It's on the free plan too. There's limits to what
Right.
you can do and engage with that. And that was the other complaint that happened when ChatGPT 5 rolled out, is that people weren't told the limits. They took away the other stuff, and yet people only had one model to choose from on the free plan, and they would
Yeah.
hit a cap. So that's not okay. So they ended up putting 4 back in. But it's like then Grok 4 came out, to your point. I mean, Grok 4 was out and said, okay, you're free. Grok 4 is free to people. I haven't gone back to Grok since Grok 3 hit the limit for me and said, oh, you can go ahead and do this free. I was on the free plan. But you're gonna have to wait 2 hours before you get your response. And I'm like, so yeah, tag me out. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to highlight a piece of it. But what are you
Well,
doing
to
with
take that
that?
further, yeah, I mean, communication is instant. There's a lot of competition for our attention nowadays. So trying to or learning a unique value proposition, okay? And
Yeah.
that was the highlight for me is to come with three different ideas. Okay, this is what nobody else is doing. This is what will make our project unique. And then taking those three major topics and starting out with step one, step four, step five. This is what you need to do to build, to build the application. And it's on different levels of social media. It's on different levels of AI. So it's something that there's not a hope a year ago I would have been able to
Yeah.
even wrap my head around. I just
Yeah.
don't have the network to do that.
Mhm.
And now I do. Okay. So I can ask the silly questions sometimes or one line prompts like, I'm lost. Please,
Yeah.
rewrite that
Yeah.
and they'll rewrite it. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
It's interesting. It's like if you're in a conversation or in a meeting and you're just not getting what's going on, to your point, I'm like you just gave a response. I have no idea what you're talking about. If I'm in with humans, I'm going to say I'm not tracking with you.
Mhm.
And the human may or may not be capable of saying it a different way.
Mhm.
Because unless you deeply understand what it is you're talking about,
Mhm.
you may not be able to say it differently so you can get people to see a different side of it, right?
Mhm.
But AI is. And to your point, you can engage with whatever the AI is, and the AI is going to go, okay, let me say it this way for you. Let me say it this way for you. Where with depending on the human, and I've run into it, if I don't deeply understand something to give you analogies or the way to relate to it, I just know the way I learned it. I may be limited to explaining it to you in that same way.
Yeah.
And you may not get it because we all think differently. What I heard, it's interesting. I'm going to go back to something because this thing is in my head around perplexity. Because I've run into certain things with, I typically use chat, but I'll run into limitations with chat. I'll come back and go, I can't do that, or I can't research that, or I can't create that image, or I can't, there's rules, which I respect and appreciate. What I heard with perplexity, and it's one version of perplexity doesn't operate by the same rules. Perplexity, which is where the deeper research comes in. Steve, are you still with us, dude?
Mhm.
You look like you're fading out.
Mm-mm.
Perplexity will just go and like one guy described it, like it's in the nooks and crannies. It's pulling the
Yeah.
information out
Yeah.
Yeah.
because the other AIs will stop short of doing that. And then
Yeah.
Right.
and I hadn't heard that before. And I'm like, okay, this makes a lot more sense why they're coming back with stuff that maybe
Yeah.
other LLMs do not come back with because they're like, oh, yeah, a stop sign? That doesn't apply to me.
Yeah.
I'm
It
going.
Well,
it will
that's
scrape
yeah.
websites a little bit deeper than any of the others. There's
Yes,
no
Yeah.
doubt about it. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I love the thing that you said about you've got your own mastermind group, and I think that's a call out to be, create your own mastermind group, create these thought partners that you have, create all that stuff with all these different perspectives, whether it's your personal board, your own mastermind group, whatever it is, because the thinking, to your point, Greg, can go deeper. I've got stuff that I'm doing because I wanted to pull two different concepts together into one article that my brain went, it's just another aspect that I think leaders will benefit from understanding us as humans.
Hmm.
There's an energetic piece, there's the other wiring, there's so many different components to us. But I want to be able to do it in a way that it's not confusing to people, but they can understand the nuances and the different sides to us. It's like not all women are the same, and there's differences between women and men, and not all people with brown hair, brown eyes are the same. But it's that nuance with personality, communication styles, all that stuff. And chat is helping me, as I carve out 45 minutes here or whatever to start pulling together that article and what it is, the information that it needs as a guide for leaders around these different aspects. I wouldn't have even attempted to do it before.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Wouldn't even attempt it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, it's possible to do so many things. It's creativity now. I think that's the biggest bottleneck is
yeah.
creativity. Well, it's, you know what it is? It's like to create a great product. You have to have three things. You have to have viability, which means that you can solve that you can sell the product and you can actually make money, that it's economically viable. You've got to have usability in the sense that people want to use it, but then you also have to have it has to solve a real problem and
What's
an
the
important
ability
problem.
for that one?
That's
Feasibility, applicability.
well, yeah, it's like viability. It has to solve an important. It
Well, you
has to
said
solve
that's
a
the same thing twice then.
Yeah, it's well, and it's got to be feasible. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I got to go. But the point
We got
is,
to work on our abilities.
we got to work on You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And but the point is that it has to solve a very important. It has to solve an important problem so that people will pay to solve for it, right? And the problem can be just one of like, oh, I need to be able to entertain myself, but it's got to be some problem that people will pay for, right? To solve, and then it's got to do it in a way that people can actually figure the thing out and they want to use it, right?
I
And
want people to come together to where the stuff that we do actually moves people forward and helps them, because there's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't move people forward and help them. It
right.
actually grounds them in some other stuff. And I think that's one of the things they talked about with GPT. There are people with existing issues, dependencies, obsessions, whatever it may be, that this is the latest thing, that
Mm-hmm.
the AI with companionship and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important too, as people are developing these, they need to be solutions to something and not just
Yeah.
money makers. So it's I get that the money engine drives a lot of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there needs to be it's important to be cognizant, if you're the people developing this stuff, that you think about the downstream impact on humans. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and are you stepping into the space to where you're feeding something that's not going to move them forward, that just sends them deeper into the hole?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other ability. We have a
Yeah, that's true. That's a
responsibility
new one. That's a new one to add to it. That's a fourth.
to
That's a fourth
to the
leg.
outcome. Yeah, I think about
But
accountability, responsibility, um,
well, you
to
know,
the impact of what your innovation, development, tool, solution,
right.
whatever it may be, is ultimately
It
having
should be a good for
on humans.
people.
On
Right.
humans.
On
Yeah.
That's right. I
Yeah.
totally agree.
Well, not only actually living things, so not just humans, because I think about animals,
On
it
well,
can't be the to the detriment.
on
Uh,
the earth in general,
yeah,
also.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So anyway,
That would include other
not to go
things like
too deep,
environment.
not to go
Yes.
too deep, but I think that's terribly important. Yeah.
Agree.
All right, guys. So what are some last wrap up thoughts?
You know what?
Wow.
Keep swimming. Keep
Yeah.
swimming. Keep swimming, moving forward, pushing the boundaries,
Okay.
pushing the boundaries
And
of
even
what
swim if you're not in water. Okay.
that's right. Motion, motion breeds clarity.
Yeah.
So if you want to gain knowledge, or experience at something, motion, doing something always helps.
Yeah.
And when in doubt, if there's no plan, the AI can help create a plan. So
As Greg found out. Yeah.
yes.
And if you're super frustrated, keep going, because that means you're right at a breakthrough. Yeah. Greg, how
Yep.
about you?
Well, I'll kind of repeat that. I think we're living in just an amazing period of history. The things that are happening really, really quickly. And on this pod, we talk about AI, but the things that AI have done, robo taxis, flying cars, robotics to help our daily lives, they're in our back door. I mean, within a couple of years, we are going to be highly influenced by all the impacts of AI, and it's not just what we do on our, on our keyboards. It's going to be surrounding us in a really good way. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah, it's interesting because one of the things I thought of too is, it's been lately, what's different, right? What's different of where we're at today versus where we were a year ago? And it's mind-boggling when I think about it. The comfort level that I have with this space and technology and the language and the connections and stuff, there is so much still I don't understand. But I'm stepping into spaces and listening to stuff and not going, okay, I have to know what that is, have to know what that is. I'm just like, when I'm in the room and I hear terms or language I don't understand, I write it down and I stay in it. I stay in the conversation, I stay in the dialogue, because eventually there's going to be a breakthrough. And I encourage that for people that are sitting on the sideline still, because there's a lot of them, and I'm sure it's fear for the most part, and it could be the unknown. They're telling themselves a narrative that, I don't know, I'm too old for this, this doesn't apply to me, whatever it may be. And I encourage people to educate themselves to make an informed decision about whether or not they want to sit this one out. And not just a decision of sitting this one out without understanding the impact of that decision, because we have free choice, but make sure it's an informed choice. So that's my encouragement, because it's freaking fast. And it's not too late.
It's not slowing down either.
Yeah.
No.
No. So I appreciate this time, and it's been a cool conversation. So yeah, I appreciate this one. So please like, share, subscribe. Until next time, this has been AIBecause. Have a great one. From cloud to code, oh, we're everywhere. Innovation driving, we're breaking ground. With AI tools that's turning around. AIBecause, we're powering your moves. Tech that's here for good, bringing all the moves.